Good morning. Welcome to October. I would ask Mr. Tifo to take the roll call, please.
Good morning, Warden, members of council. Councillor Arnold.
I believe I am present.
Thank you. Councillor Bird. Councillor Bird. Councillor Bouchy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Councillor Bradley. Councillor Bradley. Councillor Broad.
Present.
Thank you. Councillor Cook.
Present.
Thank you. Councillor Ferguson.
Present.
Thank you. Deputy Warden Hand.
Present.
Thank you. Councillor Loosely.
Present.
Thank you. Councillor Miller.
Present.
Thank you. Councillor Napper.
Present.
Thank you. Councillor Romboats.
Present.
Thank you. Councillor Stark.
Present.
Thank you. Councillor Veen.
Present.
Thank you. Councillor Weaver.
Present.
Thank you. Councillor White.
Present.
Thank you. And of course, Warden Marriott. We have a quorum.
Thank you. We acknowledge that this land on which we are gathered today is part of the ancestral land of the Chippewa, Ottawa, and Potawatomi peoples, referred to collectively as the Anishinaabe. It is through the connection of the Anishinaabe with the spirit of the land, water, and air that we recognize their unique cultures, traditions, and values. Together as treaty people, we have a shared responsibility to act with respect for the environment that sustains all life, protecting the future for those generations to come. I would ask anybody if they have any disclosures of a pecuniary interest now or as they arise during the meeting. And look for a motion to go in camera for the reasons noted on the agenda. Please, Councillor Veen, second by Councillor Loosely. All in favor? That's carried. Good morning again, everybody. Welcome back. Please also welcome all the public that's joining us on YouTube this morning. Please join me in a moment of silent reflection. Thank you. I would like to introduce our newest member of employee, Samantha Hardy. She is our new confidential secretary, replacing Melissa while she's away on mat leave. Welcome, Savannah. I hear you may be leading us in O Canada at the end of the meeting. I would ask Mr. Tifo to rise and report from the in-camera, please.
Thank you, Warden Merritt. County Council met in camera this morning for roughly 12 minutes to carry out two items of business. One, it reviewed and approved its in-camera minutes of September 7th, 2022. And secondly, it provided staff instructions on the acquisition of a property in the City of Sarnia for its Housing Services Department.
Thank you. Number 8 is our update on our Medical Officer of Health. There's Dr. Renaday logging on now as we speak, I believe. Good morning, Dr. Renaday. We're looking forward to any update you may have.
Morning. Thank you, Warden. Can you hear me?
Yeah, very well.
Okay, great. I'll go through some of the usual pieces that we talk about, right? So if you think about where cases are going, we have certainly seen an uptick of cases, and I think that's something that you're seeing across the province and across the country. It is not unexpected. It's exactly what you would expect. Remember, COVID-19 is now essentially co-circulating with a number of other routine respiratory viruses, and essentially you're seeing a movement towards treating COVID-19 as part of what we usually deal with respiratory viruses. And the reason that we can do that is because on average, though not necessarily for any specific person, the burden of disease of COVID-19 has shifted, right? With a vaccinated population and with variants that are more transmissible, but on average less severe, the burden has shifted. So when you look at the number of outbreaks that we have, as of last Wednesday's reporting, and there'll be a new report today, we had 9 active institutional outbreaks. So 9 sounds like quite a lot of outbreaks for Lambton County, but when you look at the numbers, although some of them have many cases, again, the burden is different in terms of the severity of disease, the percentage of hospitalizations, the fatalities. Now, we have had 1 additional fatality at the last report, and we are going to continue to see that. Those are either going to be unvaccinated or under-vaccinated folks, or people for whom, perhaps they had a number of chronic conditions or were particularly immunocompromised. We don't necessarily know why it was that person versus another person who was, who had similar demographic features or medical conditions, right? We don't always know those details, but in general, that's what you're going to start seeing. And so there might be some slightly increased burden in populations at either end of the age spectrum. And in the middle, you're going to see a burden that looks very much like, normal respiratory viruses. Having said that, you're also seeing, I should talk about vaccines. And so a number of additional vaccine products have become available. And as per the eligibility criteria, the Lambton Public Health Operations will administer those vaccines. In terms of 4th doses or second boosters, depending on how you want to look at that, there's, I think at this time we have under 20% coverage. That's not, again, that's expected. I think the average demand for COVID vaccines has shifted towards lower demand in general. When you look at how that is spread among the population, you're still seeing a majority of those vaccines being delivered to people who are at higher risk. So people over 80, people over 70, et cetera. So that will be ongoing. And I think over the fall, certainly the recommendation is if you're eligible for a booster, you should get it. If you're eligible for a flu shot, you should get it. To my knowledge, for most populations, there is nothing preventing those vaccines from being administered at the same time. And so that also might, assist with people who might be interested in getting both. To my knowledge, they can be co-administered for most populations, except maybe for the newest licensed products in the pediatric age group. And that is just so that we've done that with all the other vaccines. There was a period of time where you couldn't co-administer them. And that was just so that we can sort out if there is an adverse event after immunization, which immunization it belonged to. So that's largely what that's about. But for most people, you can get them at the same time. And then finally, some big, I guess, important signaling pieces for you to be aware of from the external, just sort of around Lambton. So the WHO is talking about what they're calling the beginning of the end of the COVID pandemic. So that's really important, right? This is a shift in the virus, which has produced a shift in how we need to respond to it. Second signaling thing that you're seeing is that the federal government has lifted a lot of restrictions around traveling in terms of what's required for that with respect to vaccinations, also with respect to other public health measures in airports like face coverings, maskings, et cetera. And then the third thing, which is just, from sort of, all the way around the world, is that I was reading the other day that Australia has also removed its any mandatory isolation periods for COVID. And Australia is one of the jurisdictions that also took a very, extensive approach towards COVID. And so even they are sort of saying, okay, it's time to sort of treat this the way we treat other things. And so you're seeing that move in a lot of other places. So those are important signaling pieces about where we expect things to go. Nothing is 100% certain. And I've talked about how, if there is an emerging variant that from which we don't have as good protection against hospitalization, that would be an important sort of piece to monitor for, as well as if we were starting to see the immunity that we have from vaccination against severe outcomes to wane, which would then sort of reinforce the need for another booster, but we're not really seeing that. I think those were the things that I wanted to talk about today. So I've covered the things we usually cover, plus a few additional pieces from the situation around us that help us kind of figure out where this is going. So I think I'll leave it there.
Thank you for that, Dr. Renaday. Are there any questions? Looks like not, Dr. Renaday. Thank you again for joining us, and look forward to the next time.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Item number 9, minutes of Council of September the 7th. Do we have a mover? Councillor Weber, seconded by Deputy Warden Hand. All in favor? That's carried. And number 10, correspondence. Correspondence to receive and file. There are 3 items. Would you motion to receive and file all 3? Councillor Cook, seconded by Councillor Loosely. All in favor? That's carried. And item number 11, public health services. There's a video, 2 ambulances donated to Nicaragua that we would be able to watch now. Just 1 sec to queue it up. Okay, we have a technical issue. We can come back to this later if it gets resolved. I'll look for a motion to receive and file the information reports. Deputy Warden Hand, seconded by Councillor Bean. All in favor? That's carried. Item number 12, items not requiring a motion. 2 items there to receive and file those. Councillor Weber and Councillor Napper, all in favor? It's carried. And item number 14, committee minutes. I'd call on Councillor Arnold, please.
Thank you, Warden Marriott and members of County Council. I present the minutes from September the 21st for the Infrastructure and Development Services, Public Health Services, and Cultural Services Committee for your perusal.
Thank you. Motion number 1 under Infrastructure and Development, Information Report. Item number 2 under Public Health Services, Correspondence. And also under Public Health, number 3 is a letter of support for the Temiskaming Health Unit. Number 4 is information reports. And number 5 under Emergency Medical Services, information report. Oh, sorry, Councillor Rumbouts, please.
Yes, I just wanted to take a moment to thank staff for that very extensive 5-page report. I was a little bit disappointed that it didn't come to a conclusion, but I am looking forward to hopefully seeing in the master plan ways that we can make sure that people in our community are receiving the same response times as the rest of the county. I would request that part of the master plan that County Council is able to see that the acceptable response times and any that exceeded maybe in the last 2 to 3 years, any response times that were exceeded from those response times, the 22, 23-minute calls tend to get blended in with some of the calls that are maybe 2-minute calls and making it look like it's acceptable when it in fact is not. So we just want to make sure that that's being addressed in the master plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 6, or sorry, motion number 6 under Cultural Services, an information report on the International Oil Jewelers website. Number 7 under reports requiring a motion that the museums, gallery, and archives be accepted. Number 8 was a report regarding the use of Schultz Bequest, Petrolia Library. Number 9, under CAO, correspondence to receive and file. Number 10 was also reports. And number 11, adjournment. Councillor Arnold, please.
Ward Marriott, members of County Council, I move these days' minutes.
Seconded by Councillor Bushi. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Call on Councillor Ferguson, please.
Thank you, Ward Mayor. I'd like to present to the County Council the minutes of PM Committee, September 21st, 2022.
Thank you. Number 1, under Long-Term Care Division, information report. Number 2, also information report. And number 3 was also information. Number 4, under corporate services, information report regarding electronic online meeting participation. Number 5, information report regarding the electronic meeting participation. And number 6, under finance, facilities, and court services, information report regarding the county levy historical overview of levy apportionment to member municipalities. And under Social Services Division, number 7, information report regarding the fee reduction for school-aged licensed child care. Number 8 is report regarding the National Housing Strategy funding. And under the CAO, number 9 is correspondence, passed the same as the AM committee did. And number 10 was adjournment. Councillor Ferguson, please.
I would move the committee PM minutes be accepted.
It was seconded by Councillor Rumbouts. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. You ready? Okay. So we have our video available. We can do that now. 5, information report regarding the electronic meeting participation. There's an echo in here. And number 6, under finance.
This is a great story about 2 ambulances from Lambton County in Ontario, Canada. So the great medics at Lambton County saw that a couple of their vehicles were getting older and were being put out of service, and they convinced their city council and management to donate those ambulances to fire departments in Nicaragua.
These ambulances have served the county of Lambton well and will go on to serve the citizens of Nicaragua, an area where this type of resource is desperately needed.
And that's where we at Global Medic and Global Fire came into the picture. They got the donation given to us. Their mechanics kind of cleaned up the trucks and made them ready to go. We reached out to the Denton's program through the U.S. Air Force and asked for transport into Nicaragua. While we were lining all that up, volunteers would come in and they would build up shoring kits so that when the ambulances were on the plane, all the air turbulence, they wouldn't destroy their axles bouncing up and down.
We moved the ambulances from the City of Lambton with the help of Preferred Towing, who gave us a great rate on getting these ambulances down to Niagara Falls, where the 30th Airport Squadron loaded them onto these really big planes and they sent them down to Nicaragua, where they were received by local emergency services. One of them was transported to the city of Managua, and the other one was moved to a city called Esteli, where they are both now in use already, and the local emergency service departments are able to elevate their speed of response and standard of care because they simply have access to this equipment.
Okay, it's good to see something put to good use where they don't have the ability to buy it. That brings us to item number 15, items tabled from previous meetings. Councillor Arnold.
Thank you, Ward Mayor, members of County Council. First, A and B, I would like to make a motion to defer those to the first full meeting of 2023, being it's so important to have the new folks take a look at this.
Okay, seconded by Councillor White. Any discussion? All in favor of that? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Item number 16, items deferred from previous meetings. I believe the deferred motion number 12. Councillor Stark, please.
Thank you, Warden. I'm not sure if this has to be raised from the table first, but in any event, my position is, and I thank the Lambton County Council for indulging me in this, but apparently in 2016, Lambton County Council of the day delegated the authority to our planning professionals at Lambton County for official plan amendments and reviews. And having now been apprised of that information, I would like to withdraw the motion.
Okay. Seconded by Councillor Arnold. Any discussions? Councillor Bradley.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. At that time, I was trying to get all the official plans brought to the committee and to County Council, and that was rejected. I do think there should be, and we have something similar in Sarnia with site plans, that we can bump it up to Council if we think it's necessary. And I do think, perhaps maybe Councillor Stark wants to pick up on this, I think it's important on something very significant for every community, an official plan, that the ability there is to bump it up to the full Council for discussion. And I understand why my proposal before was rejected, because there's lots of things that go through that are just routine and ordinary and don't need to come to County Council. But as you follow the debate in the City of Sarnia, it's been a couple of years and it's been many, many meetings and proposals. And to simply defer that to staff, I don't think is the right thing to do if we really want to believe in public input and public process, because it was city county councilors that had to deal with this issue. So I would prefer that we change the rules so there's a bump up to bring this plan to the full county council so we can discuss it and expedite it. And that would apply to any other member municipality that wants to bump up their plan to the full council.
Okay, so you're proposing another motion after this, Councillor Bradley?
Or if Councillor Stark wants to, we haven't spoken, if you'd like to move in that direction, fine. If not, I will bring that forward.
I think to keep it clean, we should, now that he's made the motion to withdraw.
Yes, thank you, Warden. My motion was specific to this particular issue, and my motion to withdraw stands.
Okay, any further discussion before I call the vote? All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Do you have you be bringing a notice of motion in that form?
Out of courtesy, because I think everyone should have the opportunity to look at a motion. That's what I'm proposing, and that would be deferred to the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 17, notice of that. So that leads us into number 17, notice of motion. So Councillor Bradley, you would like that under there?
I believe, Mr. Van Horn, you got the essence. And if we need to talk, we can do that. Simply that County Council can bump up an official plan to the full council for discussion.
Yeah, it can be done.
Thank you.
Number 18, other business. We have nothing on the agenda. Does anybody on council have some other business? Councillor Bradley.
Just one piece of information. It's got a meeting scheduled tomorrow with the Minister of Transportation for Canada by Zoom, Omar Alglebra, along with Peter Prakatis, the MP from London North, and it's to discuss via rail service and upgrades of that service into this county. And I will let you know after what the discussion is about and if there's any movement on changing the level of service into the community right now, which is just not acceptable. And it's been 10 years since Via Rail cut the service in half, and we've never recovered from it. So that is tomorrow morning, and I will let you know if the meeting goes ahead, because with ministers, it's always debatable, but it is scheduled for tomorrow morning at 9:30.
Thank you for that. Any other business? Councillor Arnold, please.
Thank you, Ward Marriott, members of County Council. Just like to remind everyone of the Brigden Fair that starts on Friday. Everybody's invited, and the kickoff will be at 11 a.m. on Friday morning. And also, I just wondered, Ward Marriott, in the future of this council, if possibly we could get a First Nations presentation in regards to history locally. I know that we've reached out to them many times in the past to have involvement in the chamber, but I think something like this, especially with the truth and reconciliation stuff that we just have recently gone through, that it might be a good bridge over to our First Nations communities in the community.
Thank you for that. I think Mr. Tifo has some information on that.
Yes, thank you, Warden Merritt and the County Council through, of course, Councillor Arnold. We do have a presentation on local First Nations history being organized through the county and being offered to all elected officials come November 25th. So it'll be hosted here and provided through historians. So we will be addressing that at that point in time and possibly rolling that out further, perhaps within the organization.
Perfect, thank you. Anything else under other business? Councillor Rumbouts and then Deputy Warden Hand.
Just wanted to take a moment just to remind all motorists that the crops are coming off, and as a farmer, and I did see a near miss where somebody was flying by trying to get where they're going, which I get, but our farmers are doing their very best to get out of your way, but please be aware that they are out there, they're doing their job, and they're trying to feed everyone. So please, if everyone could just be a little patient right now in the fall while we're trying to get all of those crops off. Thanks.
Thank you for that. Deputy Warden Hand, please.
Thank you. I just wanted to acknowledge the announcement yesterday from Blue Water Health and thank Mike Lepine for his service to our community, and congratulations to Paula Riom Zimmer on her promotion to lead the hospital. So there was a link that was sent out, I think everyone got it, of the staff meeting that was held at noon at the hospital, and it's worth listening to. They all get to speak, and it's a good video. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Anything else? Looks like that's all of the other business. Moves us to number 19, notice of bylaws. Please, Mr. Tifo.
Thank you, Warden Merritt. It is moved by Councillor Stark and seconded by Councillor Boucher that bylaw 22 of 2022 as circulated be taken as read a first and second time.
All in favor? Opposed? That's carried.
It is moved by Councillor Boucher and seconded by Councillor Stark that bylaw 22 of 2022 as circulated be taken as read a third and final time.
All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. So that brings us to an adjournment. Next meeting is scheduled for November the 2nd with an in-camera session to commence at 9 a.m. Do we have a mover for that? Councillor Bean and Councillor Weber, all in favor? That's carried. Please join us in O Canada.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free, from far